So thyroid conditions are very common, and there's probably some association with the increased radiation that we're exposed to on a daily basis in the 21st century that contributes to the high rate of thyroid dysfunction today. Thyroid, like all other hormones, is controlled by the brain, and the first place for controlling the amount of thyroid you have in your body comes from the hypothalamus, and from there TRH is secreted. It stimulates the pituitary gland to make TSH, and TSH then subsequently stimulates the thyroid gland itself to make mostly a product called T4, which is thyroid, which is two tyrosine molecules basically with four iodine molecules sticking out of them. So this substance with the four iodines comes out of your thyroid. It goes to the tissues where one of those iodine molecules, atoms is taken off, and you either get a highly active form of thyroid called T3, which is 5 times more powerful than what comes out of your thyroid, the T4. The other potential product that can be secreted by your tissues once they process the T4 is something called reverse T3. It's also something that only has 3 iodines on it, but the iodine that's been cut out has been in a different position than when we get the powerful T3. Reverse T3 for many years was thought to be just an end product of metabolism that doesn't do anything and your body gets rid of. Now we know that it actually works to balance the T3. And so if you're taking too much of the T4 in your body needs to make a decision as to what to do with it. You can't activate it to T3 all the time, because then you're always going to be on the go losing weight and your heart's going to be palpitating all the time and you can't sleep at night. So it balances it by making some reverse T3 so you can get rid of some of the extra stuff. But if you have too much T4 in conditions where you're either taking too high of a thyroid dose or your thyroid is making too much T4, you can get too much reverse T3, which will subsequently block the action of these other thyroid hormones and make it so that you feel like you're low on thyroid even though you actually have too much thyroid. So really there's no way of knowing that balance, that equation, unless you're measuring reverse T3. So that's a very important thing to recognize. The other thing to recognize is that TSH is not as good an indicator as we would like to think that it is, because, well, with all the radiation in the environment now, the amount of TSH overall is lower than it should be, and cell phones also have been shown to lower your TSH, and that may have something to do with the inaccuracy of the TSH for us to follow these days. The other thing to keep in mind about thyroid is that thyroid, just like all other hormones, is mostly carried in your bloodstream with proteins. And the proteins that it is carried by are specific to the thyroid, but there is a cross reactivity with the sex hormones. And this plays into why some people experience periods of low thyroid during every menstrual cycle. And so there be a point where you have a lot of these binding proteins for estrogen, and then all of a sudden your estrogen levels drop, and then now you have all these empty spots in the protein, sucks up all your thyroid, and for a few days when someone's going through their premenstrual phase, they can look and have all the symptoms of low thyroid. A week later, all those symptoms are gone, but they gained 5 extra pounds during that PMS cycle, which they didn't get rid of, and then so it eventually will lead to cyclical weight gain with each menstrual cycle. But worry not, there are treatments for all of these things, and if you find the right person to work with, they can fix your thyroid problems pretty quickly. Good luck.